Hello everybody, my name is Bob and this is my vlog. It is summer in Texas. It's hot, it's sticky, it's miserable. Mosquitoes are everywhere. You may be asking yourself, why would Bob start a big fire and party outdoors in the summer under these conditions? Normally I wouldn't. However, this happens to be Midsummer's Night, an ancient festival celebration going back probably to the beginnings of agriculture, probably. Maybe 10,000 BC. So it probably existed in some form since that time. And I'm going to celebrate it. You and I together are going to celebrate it. Now, what is that all about? It's tomorrow at 6 a.m. is the Summer Solstice. And so we are celebrating the Summer Solstice and chasing off the evil spirits, which is really pretty much what the original function of it was. The original function of Midsummer's Night was to chase off bad luck, pretty much. So we're going to do our share of chasing off bad luck. It's not a very common holiday to celebrate in this part of the world, in America. It's more common in Europe, especially in Scandinavia, to celebrate it. It's popular with pagans. I'm not technically a pagan, I'm an animist, but I like pagan celebrations, so I figure it's a win. I'm also going to have myself a little beer, which will be the first time in months, probably, that I've had any kind of alcoholic beverages at all, because I don't normally drink. But tonight I'm going to have some beer, so that should be interesting in and of itself. The fire comes in the form of this. This is a rather portable petite barbecue with a bunch of wood in it, but also the fire in this case is not simply to because it's Midsummer's Eve, but I actually have some chicken bones that I need to burn to make fertilizer out of. So we will do a dual purpose. Down in here is a piece of newspaper wrapped, chicken bones wrapped up in newspaper, so we shall be burning us some chicken bones along with it, along with the celebratory semi-bonfire taking place in a very small barbecue here. I'm also going to light some lamps around the garden to increase the light and celebratory atmosphere, and I made it out of a Dr. Pepper can. I made several of these out of Dr. Pepper cans. It's actually an oil lamp. I'll put a little oil in there, set it on fire, and yeah. And fire is what it is. Fire. 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 Now again, you may be asking yourself, why doesn't Bob simply go out and buy some candles? Why doesn't he do that, self? You may be asking yourself, why doesn't Bob just go out and buy some candles? A couple of reasons for that. One is I don't have a car at the moment, so I am without transportation. Two, I like to recycle things anyway, so I'm recycling these old Dr. Pepper cans into oil lamps. Number three, I am as cheap as they come, so doing something for free that otherwise would cost money is kind of a win in my world. So, here's the garden. We'll sort of scatter the oil lamps in various locations around the garden. When night falls, we shall set the bonfire and drink beer. Drink beer. The beer on tap this evening will be Corona Extra. If you have any Corona Extra or beer of your choice handy, you might want to pop one open and celebrate the Midsummer's Night with me. Or not. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, it's the internet. Anybody can see this. You ever think about that? Anybody could see this. Anyone. It's kind of scary. But if you are so inclined to pop open a brew with me, so breaking my months-long alcohol fast, actually come from a long line of alcoholics, but it has never really, being an alcoholic has never really appealed to me at all. I've never really been tempted to overdo. Well, I've been tempted to overdo it, but I've never tempted to be a chronic user pretty much of alcohol. So it's been months. How long has it been? I'm not even sure I had any on Christmas, to tell you the truth. Maybe a sip. Anyway, so it should be amusing in and of itself, seeing a person who hasn't drunk in 6 months drink up some Corona Extra. So that should be a little extra entertainment, possibly. That's about it. It's as you can see, it is not anywhere near nighttime now. But I am getting my festivities ready. The oil lamps / old Dr. Pepper cans. And the fire. And I hope that the wood's going to be enough to get those chicken bones going good, because I need them to really break down and get carbonized. And again, I'm going to be using those as fertilizer for my plants. So it really actually sort of just coincidental that that happens to be Midsummer's night, but because I actually really needed to get some of these chicken bones burned off and turn them into fertilizer. Okay, I don't know to what degree you can see much of any of this, but I just started the fire just now. I've also got some lamps lit, some oil lamps lit around, the ones that I made out of old soda cans. I may be having some guests come by, and when that happens, I will put the traditional or the non-traditional 9 spices in the fire, or 9 herbs. There's 9 herbs supposed to throw in the fire during the Midsummer's night festivities. The thing is that those herbs that they use, unless you're living in a European meadow, you won't have them. So I'm just putting 9 random herbs in the fire when my guests come. Oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got that time for that. I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that. Okay, well, I didn't really record the festivities per se because I was too busy festivizing. I had a couple friends over, Bill and Kay. We had some beers, had a good time, chatted a bit. Did some dangerous acts involving fire. Not all of them were intentional. And generally had ourselves a good Midsummer's night. Made funny hats out of leaves, as you can see. Funny hats out of leaves. And I've had a few beers, and I'm kind of ready to wind down for the night. Anything to take away from this? What do we take away from this going forward? Midsummer's night is fun. That's pretty much it. Just unless you have a religious objection to having a Midsummer's fight, a Midsummer's night party, unless you have some sort of ideological objection to having a Midsummer's night party, it's good to have. And probably by the time you see this video, you'll still have another chance, because although the solstice will be over, the traditional date that Midsummer's Night is actually celebrated on is the 23rd. So you could actually have Midsummer's Night at the traditional date, the 23rd, instead of the actual date of the solstice, which will be tomorrow at 6 a.m. or tonight will be the Midsummer's Night. So you have another chance yet to have a Midsummer's Night party, which I would highly recommend that you do, unless you have some sort of ideological objection to it. We had a lot of fun. Did I mention the funny hats made out of leaves? I made those myself. Everybody had themselves a funny hat made out of leaves. We had some problems with the homemade oil lamps. They started burning the containers that they were in, and I had to try to put them out. And I put them out with a fine mist of water, which caused them to explode in a giant gush of flame, which was very entertaining. And we just talked and drank and watched the embers die. And so it was a good night. A good time was had by all. And I hadn't seen those particular friends in a while, and we resolved to celebrate some other pagan festivities with each other at some point in the future, in the near future. And yeah, that's it. That's about it. That's about it. So have yourselves find out when the pagan festivities are in the calendar and have one. And invite your friends over. Play with fire, drink beer, and put funny hats made out of leaves on your head.